listening to The Burn. Gaming stuff, blazing fast.
Hello, welcome to a new episode of The Burn, a podcast about gaming done blazing fast. I'm Aviv Manoach.
I am Omer Kaplan. Oh, how are you? Long time.
Yes, long time. That's the second take of this episode. The marvelous world of podcast recording. We usually just keep all the technical difficulties in, but since it was so early in the episode,
it was a mess. Good thing we're starting it over. You're gonna tell me all about new stuff I didn't hear 5 minutes ago. It's gonna be great.
Right. So let's do the opening properly before we move on to talk about holidays and stuff. So this is The Burn. Welcome. In each episode of the show, we usually talk about one game and one news topic. But this episode is the 2020 year in review, in which we will discuss our expectation for this year, what we ended up playing, and what are we expecting for the next year. You can listen to all of the previous episodes in theburn.live and catch live shows sometimes on twitch.tv/icel.me. There is also a link in the description to the episode from last year, 2019 year in review, which you can catch up on what we were expecting and stuff from last year.
That's good. Are we doing the thing for a year? I mean, on and off, right? COVID happened.
We
didn't
have
record for
been
like 2
doing
months.
it for more than a year already.
This is crazy.
I was supposed to mention it in like the last episode, but totally forgot because we had like a gap of 2 months between episode. But our
that's awesome. Wow, that's
first
crazy.
episode was in let me tell you when. The Burn That Live. We were supposed to have like 20 episodes a year, but we suck. It was November 20th, 2019.
I say blame the COVID. I mean, we're not gonna get a lot of opportunities to do it. So right now, just blame the COVID, because soon everybody's gonna get vaccinated and you won't be able to. So I say it's the COVID. Blame the COVID.
Fine, we'll blame the COVID. How was your Christmas?
The Christmas is great. I mean, we don't really, celebrate the thing, but, we get the lights out. People at work are in Christmas mode, so everybody like super friendly. And yeah, I mean, it's been great, super relaxing. The workload didn't change all that much, but I'm looking forward to a nice kind of like New Year's weekend where I'm gonna game like crazy. How are you? How's life? How was your end of the year?
Well, you don't have to celebrate like the birth of Christ, but it's the winter solstice and the holiday of lights. Regardless if it's Hanukkah or Christmas, it's based on the same thing. So
yeah, it's all about getting some light before the winter, and everybody is going to hole up in their apartments, not going out anywhere because of the snow and things.
Right. Only we don't have any snow, and also
it's weird. I'm actually looking at some kind of like stuff that people in Israel post. They're like, "Oh my God, it's so cold! It's like 19 degrees Celsius. It's crazy!" And then, like people with jackets and everything. And I'm like, it's like -5, -7 here over here, and
Look, I want to tell you something. People in Israel are stupid. Each year, they claim that Israel doesn't have any seasons, and they claim that the weather here is always the same. They forget that between each season, there is a difference of at least 10 degrees, if not more. Like summers are 35 to 40 Celsius, and then spring and autumn are around 25. And then winter, normal winter, not like this year. This year is unusually warm. But usual winter is about 15 to 10 degrees Celsius. So, the winter is warm here, but it's still 10 degrees difference between autumn and winter. So people claim that we have no seasons. Are idiots. Anyway.
I mean, there's seasons. It's basically scientific. So there's definitely seasons, unless I guess you live on the equator or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the closer to the equator you go, the less you notice the season, of course.
Uh,
But we
but
are not a podcast about weather.
Okay.
The only end of the year interesting thing for me was that we had the company all hands for the end of the year, and the company was like, yeah, we had a great year this year, great reports, great results, and you all get in an end of the year bonus of a brand new gaming console of your
Well, that's pretty
choice.
awesome.
So I take the PS5. I'm upgrading my PS4 after 6 months of owning it.
Yeah, that's good. So you're gonna get the premium cyberpunk experience
No,
when you're actually gonna get it.
I'm not going to buy Cyberpunk ever.
So you're gonna get the Assassin's Creed premium experience.
Yes, once I get the PS5, I can reinstall Assassin's Creed Valhalla and play it on the
Yeah,
PS5.
we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it in 2 seconds. I have some questions for you.
Right. I also need to buy like a 4K TV.
Well, maybe for next year's company all hands, you can get a nice TV.
Why?
With the PS5.
Why do I need to wait? I have money.
That's all right. Well,
Anyway, let's start with 2020 expectations. What we thought about last year, about this year. What did you expecting?
So this year's been weird. So I started the years by saying, and I think I even said it on the podcast, either this or the Hebrew one. I said I have enough games in my Steam library. I need to go through all my collection, start like finishing games, and I did well for I guess the first 2 months, but then like March hit, and then this whole COVID spiral started happening, and I was like, okay, well, you know what? I need some new escapism. I need some shiny new things. So I kind of like ended up embedding in that, and I ended up like buying a whole bunch of games. And podcasting with you didn't help because you convinced me to buying like a lot of games.
You can't blame me
So,
this year for having you buying games. If anything, it's the other way around. There are 2 games this year that you played before me, so I'm not to blame.
No, I'm blaming the COVID for sure. So there was some of that, and so I didn't expect that, but I did a good job for 2 months out of 12, which is nice. And then I also didn't expect buying into this whole cloud gaming services. I thought, I was a beta tester for GeForce Now, and I thought, well, it's not that good, and I, ended up playing a whole bunch of stuff on my PC. But towards, I think, like for 2.5, almost 3 months now, I'm sold. I'm drinking the cloud gaming Kool-Aid, and I'm having tons of fun with it. And yeah, it's gonna be a permanent trend, I think, for the next year. So those are my 2 big things, I think.
Well, it's nice that you have access to that.
Yes.
Certainly.
Don't you get like GeForce Now and stuff?
No, I think the only one we have access to is the PlayStation one.
What about the Amazon thing? It's still in beta, I think.
I don't know, but since when Israel gets Amazon stuff?
Right.
Anyways,
you do have Amazon, but not Prime, right?
Yeah, we don't have like Amazon Prime with the shopping and everything. We do have access to things like Prime Video and Prime Gaming and all the other stuff, but not Prime shipping and shopping and stuff.
Well,
they even canceled before COVID. Amazon were added Israel to the free shipment thing above, like I don't know what the rate was, but we got free shipment, and then when COVID started, they couldn't they couldn't do it anymore. So we are
I guess
back.
I guess it's a logistics kind of thing. Like over here, there's like an Amazon warehouse every like 100 miles. So
yeah,
like you're basically like a 1 day away from like anything you want in the world. So I guess it's a logistics kind of thing.
Well, I get packages from Amazon in a week, which is kind of good.
It's fine.
Yeah, most of Israel sometimes wait for a month, but because I live in a kibbutz and we don't really have a post office, so everything gets delivered directly. So my position is better, but that's not gaming either. You're derailing this episode.
As usual, par for the course.
Yes, exactly. So my 2020 expectation, I actually did last week the end of the year show in Game Burning, so I have it all figured out. I was expecting Animal Crossing because I never played any of those games, and I ended up buying it for the Switch, but wasn't really into it. Didn't play it all that much. So that was one thing. Watchdog Legion was the other thing I was expecting, but haven't played it yet. Heard good things about it. Looking forward to it in a few months or something. I also played Watchdog 2 in a delay of about a year. So that's par for the course. And regarding Cyberpunk 2077, I was mainly expecting to see how it comes out. And then there were all those red flags and stuff around it, and I ended up not buying it and anything. So my expectations were kind of bleh, but the year itself was great. So let's talk about what.
Yeah, I think for gaming, I think this was a great year. You know, we got like huge viewership, upgrade on Twitch for like all the major events. We had most of our esports tournament actually happen in an online format. It was, lots of good games coming out. So yeah.
Well, gaming organizations remembered that they don't really need the physical space to run their stuff because they never did.
Yes. So yeah. So if anything, it just improved the production quality, which is great.
Exactly. So what did we play this year and liked?
I played a whole bunch of stuff, but let me give you my top 3, and I didn't put them in any particular order because it was too hard and everything had like a sentimental value. So I'm gonna give you my top 3. So first shout out goes to Animal Crossing, which literally, so I know it's pretty cliche to say that Animal Crossing saved my March, April, May kind of thing. But with all this COVID thing happened, I think April, and I was looking at my Switch statistics, April, May, and June went directly into Animal Crossing. I played hundreds of hours, and it was like, it's almost like they need to do a movie about it. Like, it was a perfect time to launch like this kind of like escapist game, and it did like, it was literally amazing.
So what you're saying is that COVID-19 was a Nintendo conspiracy. Confirmed.
I think you can definitely have a Black Mirror episode about that. Because it's kind of, I think it launched where one of the customization that you can do for your character is like a face mask.
No, they added that. They added that after.
Oh, it wasn't like on launch thing. I don't remember, but
they added that after.
I thought it was a cool touch. I just don't remember, but yeah, it was awesome. Anyway, so that was my first one, and then the other one, shout out goes to Hades, which is, I mean, it was like, if I had to like pick one game that like the best game I played all year, and the game that you have to go and buy right now, I would say go buy Hades. It's, from a gameplay perspective, soundtrack, narrative, controls, which I rarely commend the game for its really smooth control system. This was just great. Like, if out of all, and coming up from a great studio, and I have like all the best thing to say about it. So Hades is my second one, and the third thing goes to a game called Star Renegades, which I didn't talk about in this podcast, which I definitely should. It's after finishing.
Oh right, that's the like JRPG roguelike pixel art thing.
Yes, I mean, it does tons of things really well. It's turn-based. It has JRPG components. It has roguelike components. It has giant robots and futuristic theme going on, and it kind of like combines mechanisms from stuff you see in like traditional JRPGs, but also stuff you've seen in what's the name? Battle Chasers Night War. But also like kind of like a turn-based system like Child of Light, where there's like a time, kind of like a time frame where everybody take their actions, and you can push people out of the time frame to stun them. So there's a lot of like interesting mechanisms there. You got inventory systems. You have different party members with different abilities. The graphics are awesome. Soundtrack is really cute. So just a very deep game, which satisfies my need for a good turn-based game. I got it on the Switch, but it's available everywhere, I think. So those are like my top three. Outside of like the big kind of like AAA titles. And then every year I give a shout out to a game of the year that I played but didn't come out this year. I started playing. I know it's kind of like a recency bias, but I started playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey about a month ago, almost a month ago.
Also on Stadia.
On Stadia, it runs amazing. It runs amazing, and then once I got the controller for the Stadia, it runs even better. So I'm having a blast. So I skipped a lot of Assassin's Creed, and this is I think one of my first modern Assassin's Creed game I played. I didn't play Origins.
It's also not a game from this year, so that's not.
I know.
That doesn't really count.
No, I said it's my favorite game of the year that didn't come out this year.
Okay. I will allow this category. I will go and find my own as well.
So let me tell you just one thing. I don't know how. Like you played you played hundreds of hours on Odyssey.
I played 105 hours of Odyssey. I completed all the map and every activity on it, and then I went back to the main story, got bored, and quit.
Please tell me that you picked Cassandra and not the other generic.
Yeah, of course. Obviously.
Okay, because like the acting and the voiceover and everything around like this character is amazing. And then I was looking on YouTube like to see the other dudes. Forgot his name, and it's so generic and vanilla that I don't even know how this game experience looked like. But Cassandra is amazing. I want Cassandra in all my games. This is great. So I'm gonna give it a big shout out. I think I'm 20 hours in, and I'm gonna keep going. This is great. I absolutely love it. And we need to talk about Cyberpunk on a separate thread. I finished the main story and most of the side quests available.
But is it really a significant game of this year? Beside the fanfare, yeah.
No, definitely not. I think it's basically, I would equivalent that to, I mean, it has, I think, the fanfare and the marketing and the hype was, I think, worth talking about. But in terms of like what you get, if I clean up all the noise and just take the content.
Let me preface it like this. Take The Witcher 3 when it came out and the quality of the game it was. Is Cyberpunk holds?
I think it's right. I think it's right on par with The Witcher 3 when it came out. So here's the thing, and I think I haven't played a whole lot of like CDPR games, so I'm gonna take The Witcher 3 and this. I think it's gonna go through the same phases. So we're gonna get a messy first release. We're gonna get a whole lot of investment. I mean, it's gonna be like more high profile and more, in the media and everything.
But Witcher 3 hadn't a messy first release.
I just remember lots of bugs and a messy console
version. I remember it being very well on initial release and very well received. And they had this whole free DLC program they did because at the time there was a big issue about DLC coming out and stuff. So they were like, "Haha, we are not like that."
I think we'll be able to really judge Cyberpunk. I wouldn't say maybe 1 to 2 years from now, after they really put in a lot of effort into it. Right now, it feels like a very, intuitively feels like a very vanilla version of GTA 2077, without all the big immersion that I'm expecting from a Cyberpunk game. So
right. Okay, so let's move on to games that you actually enjoyed this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold judgment until give it a year, and we'll talk about that and Anthem in the same episode. We'll do it.
The difference is that I think that Cyberpunk really has content, while Anthem really didn't. But you played.
It has 2 games with a lot of potential, and they need to like realize it and put some effort into it.
Well, Anthem is a lost cause, but yeah. So you played Star Renegades, you played Animal Crossing, and then we have Hades that we both put on our list, and we had an episode on, and everyone loves.
Yes.
Enough said.
I mean, you can't find a reason not to love it. Like, I can't find in this world. I can't find a reason not to love it, unless I don't know, you're biased towards Greek mythology or something.
Yes, you are a Zeus. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. I've been reading a manhwa, Korean comic thing called God of High School, and in one of the later arcs, there is a war between gods and humans and stuff, and it has depictions of like Odin and Zeus and other such gods, and they are so different from any other depiction I saw, and it contrasted with me so much for playing both Hades and Valhalla right now, so it was interesting. So yeah, I okay. Let me backtrack a little bit. I have a list of every game I play each year, and I keep track of how many games I play, stuff like that. And most years in the last 5 years, I played over 50 games, so about one game a week or so. 2018 was a bit low. I only played 39 games. And this year also was low. I played 35. And out of them, only 11 new games, meaning that came out of this year. But the reason for that is that I got a PlayStation. And on the PlayStation, I played a bunch of older games that came on the PlayStation. Like Uncharted and Spider-Man and God of War. So if we take my pick for my favorite game that I played this year, but it didn't come out this year, I think Spider-Man takes the reward for that. Uncharted 4 is a better game, no doubt, but I think I enjoyed Spider-Man more. The music and the open world and just hearing all the quips of Peter Parker and stuff like that. When I get the PS5, I'll probably buy Miles Morales, although I wouldn't buy it for $50 because I think it's too much. And then my favorite game of this year and all time that came out in 2020 is Persona 5.
Oh yeah, it's all time.
Yes. One of my favorite games of all times. Persona 5, I switched to Hebrew. Persona 5 Royale. Technically, original Persona 5 didn't come out 2020, obviously. Came out a few years ago, and then Royale came in 2019 in Japan, but the Western release was in 2020, so I'm within my legal rights. And yeah, we did an episode on that. It's an amazing game. I talked about it so much over the last week because of the end of the year thing. And I went back listening to the soundtrack, and I kind of want to play it again already. I spent like 3 months playing only Persona 5, and I kind of like to do it again. So
is there like more content for you to do, or it's like you just have to like redo the game?
Not really. There is a new game plus, and if you get like all the relationship maxed out, you get special items that will give you bonuses for new game plus. So you start the game with a lot more things than in a normal game, which will make the game easier. So maybe I will try the game on a harder difficulty. There is more content. There is a secret boss that you can only fight in New Game Plus. There is a couple of relationship I can optimize or stuff like that. But I mainly want to like relive all the content and all those relationships and all those characters. It's a very special game to me.
It's that good.
Yeah. And then, unfortunately, like my list, because I played so few games that came out this year, the list is pretty thin. By default, I think the next best game I played was Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I'm looking at the list again, and I think Jenny Leclue for the Switch is probably a better game. It's a very good game. It came out for the Switch in 2020, so again, I'm allowed. But the next best game is probably Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's just not very special. It's another Assassin's Creed game. Some things they did better, some things they didn't. The English countryside map is really good, and I really like it. But yeah, it's more Assassin's Creed. I like it better than Odyssey. If I think on all the reboots, Origins is still my favorite. I think it's the best of the reboots.
I know. So I thought about getting Origins because I really love the Egyptian culture thing. But I took a look at Bayek and I took a look at Cassandra. I was like, I'm definitely gonna play Cassandra. I can't do any like generic dude with swords again. I don't know.
Cassandra is a better character. Bayek is not generic. Seriously, Bayek is a great character. The story of Bayek himself, regardless of the assassin thing, is a lot better than any other story they wrote since like 4, I think, Black Flag. Basically, the whole story of Assassin's Creed Origin is a couple, Bayek and Aya, and they're handling their grief over the loss of their son. And it's if you strip everything else out, it's an amazing storytelling experience, and I really like it.
Yeah, I'm tempted. I'm really thinking about getting the UB Plus thing next year. So I guess there's gonna be more Assassin's Creed in my games, especially now that they have like a Stadia connection. So
I'm actually thinking of going back and doing like the main story of Origin and then the main story of Odyssey, just to catch up of everything that led up to Valhalla.
So I thought about getting Valhalla, but it was like full price against like the $20 for
if you get the subscription, it's really worth it to just play everything. And while those games are built around leveling and grinding and stuff, you can basically do the main story with very little else. You don't have to do everything else in the game, so you can run and do the main story for about, I think, 20 hours on each game and enjoy it. It's great.
This is my first time doing the naval combat, which I absolutely love.
Really?
Let me jump on ships all day. I'll do the naval combat.
Didn't we talk about it in Game Burning that I really hate the naval stuff, and you like it?
Yeah, and we talked about like Pillars of Eternity, Deadfire, and the ships there, and we had a whole segment about that. It was great.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but then I think so. There's some in Valhalla too, right? Some naval combat, or not? No, you raid villages there, I think.
No, there isn't naval combat in Valhalla.
Yeah, just raid villages, I think. That's what you do. Cool.
And in Valhalla, you can just hit one button and the ship goes where you want it to go, and you don't need to do anything.
Oh, that's actually nice. I'll take that. Yeah. I mean, I think the map for Odyssey feels right now 20 hours in feels like small, so I don't care about like jumping between islands. But yeah, and I really like the sailors singing while you sail, which is awesome. I joined them and raise a cup of mead while we sailing. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
You want to talk about next year?
Of course I want.
Okay, so talk to me about your 2021 expectations.
Right. So every time we do those shows, I don't know what to say because I don't really keep track of anything that's supposed to come out. So I Google video games 2021 and that just pick on the game that come up. So what came up is, first of all, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. I haven't played the first one. It's really like well renowned and everything, and I love Vampire the Masquerade, the role-playing game, which is really cool. So I'm waiting for that. We'll see how it turns out. The next thing that's supposed to come out in 2021 is Hitman 3. I wasn't a Hitman fan before like the reboot again. They did 4 years ago. They switched to an episodic model and everything. And then so I played Hitman 1, and then when Hitman 2 came out, they did like a remaster of all the missions of Hitman 1, and they gave all the owners of the original those remaster for free. So you could just download for free Hitman 2 without the new missions and just get the old missions and play them on the new on the remaster levels. And then I ended up buying the entire game. So I have Hitman 2 with all the missions from the first one and all the new mission stuff. So I'm waiting for Hitman 3 very, very much. I kind of been tempted to buy Hitman 2 again for the PlayStation, to play it on the PlayStation. Because most of my gaming nowadays is on the couch in front of the TV. And Hitman is kind of a good controller game because you don't really use firearms in Hitman when you don't want to do like the noisy assassinations. You want to poison people and strangle them and stuff.
Yes.
So that's a thing. And then I found out that Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time is getting a remake, and I'm very happy about that. Yeah. So those.
I had no idea. It should be nice.
Yeah. So those are my expectations.
All right, awesome. Yeah, so I just want one thing. Just give me, if anything, just if I can pick one thing next year, just give me Baldur's Gate 3 out of early access. Just give me the full game. Every month.
I'm so conflicted about this game.
What? Just let me play. I need a good CRPG in my life, and I don't have anything that's like really tempting at the moment. So let me just play my bard, do the storyline, do some combat. It's on Stadia, so just let me do the thing. I'll pay your $60. Just get it out of early access, so I can really enjoy the full story.
I will need the game to come out, and then people to tell me that it's worth it.
I'll be able to tell you pretty fast because I'm like, as soon as it's out of early access, I'm getting it. No questions asked. So there's that. If Diablo 4 comes out this year,
Diablo 4 I play just because the cinematic with Lilith and everything was great.
Yes. No, it should be a good game. I was waiting for what's the name of the Korean thing, Lost Ark, to make its way to the US before Diablo 4. But what? It's an app. Okay, so you gotta Google that. I'm gonna put you the link in the thing. It's called Lost Ark, I think. Yes, it's a Korean kind of like dungeon crawler action RPG. It's amazing looking. And I thought it's going to be the bridge between Diablo 3 and 4, but I don't think it's coming to the US anytime soon. But
okay.
When it,
I kind of hoping that they do a console release parallel to the PC instead of like 2 years later.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So Amazon actually have the publishing rights for Lost Ark in the West, so hopefully it makes its way. I mean, it's getting old, but it's a really nice looking game. How do I even put the link? There's not even is there an official website for the thing? Anyway, just Google Lost Ark game on YouTube, you'll find that. It looks really good, and the bosses are cool and everything there. It's kind of like the Diablo 3 thing evolution you really wanted.
I didn't really want anything. So.
What? It's like such a nice game. Anyway, so there's that.
Do you have any other expectations, or are we done?
My other expectation. I'm sorry, I got sucked into this by searching for the YouTube. No, I think give me Diablo 4, give me Baldur's Gate 3. I'm definitely going to try
So everything you want for 2021 are role-playing games. That's what you're telling me.
That's everything I wanted out of video games, in general.
Wow, you know what? A year that Diablo 4 and Baldur's Gate 3 comes out is like going back to 2000 when Baldur's Gate 2 and Diablo 2 were a thing, and people were arguing. You were in Gamer, people you were arguing about which of the games were better, despite the fact that they are completely different games.
I'll take both. That's fine.
To be
No need
young
to argue.
again.
No need to argue. I will take both. I just put a link in the thing for you. Yes, it'd be nice to feel young again. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna do the UB Plus thing, and I'm gonna give that a try. And yeah, we're gonna say I'm gonna finish Odyssey and keep going from there. Yes.
You do the Ubisoft subscription. You play all of the Assassin's Creed. Then we'll do like a special mega Assassin's Creed episode where we argue about all of the games.
Oh, that'll be great. By the way, did you know that you can get Anthem for like $9 right now on Microsoft? Just $9 for the whole Anthem thing.
No, but
So.
why would I care?
I don't know. Listen. I played a little bit of it when it launched because I got like a month for free, and it was a nice experience.
I played a little bit of it because in the Origin subscription thing, I watched the entire game. It doesn't have content. It doesn't.
No,
it isn't worth it.
But you're playing a robot, so there's.
But it doesn't have any content. Well, ending the episode.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
This is all we have for you today. Thank you for listening. You can find us online on Twitter. I'm at Icel and Omer is at Omer Kaplan. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, comment, and leave your reviews on your preferred listening app. You can find all the episodes at theburn.live. And as always, our team was created by Ann Durko and vocals by Fishy Twitch, both on Twitter as well. Thank you for being with us this year, and we will see you on the next one.
See you on the other side.
Indeed. Bye!